Afternoon, everybody. It's a gorgeous day here in Gettysburg. 90 degrees, but it's not horribly unbearable. It's actually very low humidity, so 90 degrees isn't terrible. I mean, unless you're like just sitting out in the sun with no shade. But I'm not. I'm in a car with air conditioning. I'm waiting for a package to arrive that I need over at the studio in order to do the work I plan to do today. And so I figure while I'm waiting, it's supposed to be by 2 o'clock. So I figure while I'm waiting, let's go for a little drive. And maybe we could play left, forward, or right forward, or left, depending on how you read. I don't know what that means. Anyway, we're on Middle Street now. We're heading out towards the first day, but we can deviate from this path and possibly go left at the top of Seminary Ridge to go down West Confederate Avenue. Or we can continue straight and eventually turn right on Reynolds Avenue and go on the first day. Or we can continue beyond that and see what there is to see in the surrounding areas of Gettysburg. Don't forget, the gas for this is brought to you by patreon.com/addressingettysburg. Become a patron today. Or, as I learned the other day, you can actually donate right through YouTube. I don't know how that works. I just noticed that something just popped in. But you get more out of Patreon. You don't get as much out of watching me drive around like a moron. But you do get more by becoming a patron over at patreon.com. So, go ahead and give it a try. It seems like we're hitting all the lights today. All right, whatever suits your fancy suits me, says Estella. Well, my fancy is to wander. So I might want to head out towards the mountains. So I don't know if you guys want that. So it's time to vote. Okay, obviously I'm sitting here at the light for Confederate Avenue, and by the time I ask you, see, there you go. I can't ask you for left, right, or straight. So we're gonna try it again here. So Reynolds Ave is coming up soon. That's gonna be a right. So the options are right or forward. Oh, thank you, Mike, for the donation. Right or forward? That's the question we need answered. If we go right, we go on the first day's battlefield. If we go forward, we explore to see what there is to see. Hi all, working from home today. Thank you for the mental break. You're welcome. Go to Fairfield. Okay, we'll go to Fairfield. Forward, John B. says. Right to Reynolds. Sorry, Mike, you're outvoted. 2 forwards to 1 right. We're going to go forward. Dead ahead. All right. That's a Virginia plate there, but they were going the right way. Although they just stopped in the middle of the... Okay, whatever. Okay, so we're out in Cumberland Township. Cumberland Township surrounds Gettysburg, I believe, on 3 sides, north, west, and south. And then Strabane Township is out to the east. In fact, actually, Cumberland might surround on all sides, and then Strabane is after that, out to the east. I don't remember townships. Townships mean more here in Pennsylvania than they did back in Jersey, so I'm not in the township mindset quite yet. I still haven't really gotten used to thinking that way. We have townships, but I don't know. They're thought of differently, or maybe I thought of them differently. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, this is 116, the Fairfield Road, the Hagerstown Road, whatever you want to call it. As you know, if you've joined me on these drives before and we've gone out to Fairfield, I talk about how much I really like it out there. It's nice and quiet, quaint, I think the word is. Just a cool little town, small town, but surrounded by farmland and a beautiful view of the mountains. And I often say that when it's time for me to leave Gettysburg, proper. Now, I'm not going to leave the area and stop doing this. I'm just saying when it's time for me to leave town because my life has grown, I'll be seeking warmer climes, if you will. And those are probably west of town in the direction we're going here. I just think it's gorgeous out here. North of town is pretty too. A little more hilly than I prefer. I like more like wide open, as flat can be lands, like views that are uninterrupted. And I find those out west. Not particularly fond of east of town. South of town is nice too. So, yeah. So anyway, Fairfield is where we're heading. It's the direction we're heading. But that doesn't mean we have to go there. In fact, I should have told you Black Horse Tavern Road. We just passed that. I should have given you that option there, but I didn't because, you know, I'm just crazy like that. I'm just crazy like that. Oh, Jumpmaster wants me to turn around and go back. All right, we could do that. Hold on a second here. You know what we'll do? On the way back, we'll hit Black Horse Tavern Road. How's that sound? Because there was one person who specifically said go to Fairfield. So let's honor that request, and then when we're coming back, we'll hit the Black Horse Tavern Road. Hi, Webb, with some words of wisdom. Just remember that wherever you go, there you are. That is true. But the problems with the town, living in town that I have, are actually not me. They're everybody else. Which I guess you could say is a problem with me, that I'm antisocial. But I'm quite social, but I'm social for a living. And so in my private life, I want to be isolated. Not isolated, but I want a buffer between me and society. And that's why the country appeals to me. Quiet, you know, some space to grow, to like live my life. I grew up in the suburbs, nothing against it. It was a great childhood, great people. I had a great life living in the suburbs. But I always knew, even as a little kid, before I understood anything, I always knew that the countryside was for me. Ironically, I don't like country music. Although I'm becoming more, tolerant of it. Not anything that's coming out today. That's all crap. Just like any other genre of music, it's just all crap today. But like, I don't know, maybe like up to the 90s, country was good. With a couple of exceptions after that. I think Brad Paisley is pretty good. He's got some funny songs and he's a hell of a guitar player. But other than that, I'm really not. Bluegrass I like more, but I couldn't name any bluegrass artists. I especially love to watch people play it. Because I'm like, how the hell do you move your hands and fingers that quickly? Being adept at a stringed instrument has always eluded me, but I love watching people who can do it. Do you live in a historic home? I live in an old home. It's not, you know, a Civil War building. It's not on any historic registry, but it's about probably 120 years old, roughly. I guess, give or take 5 or 10 years on either side. I don't like it. The only reason I'm there is because the rent, I've got such a good deal on the rent. It helped me get on my feet, and it helps me save money now. And one of two things are going to happen when I move. I'm either going to move in with a woman, or I'm going to make a lot more money. And then I'll move to a place that suits me better. But right now, you know, with trying to get a business off the ground, and which is addressed in Gettysburg, you got to save your pennies because you never know. So you got to be kind of Spartan, I guess is the word they use. didn't like much country until I watched Ken Burns' Country Music. There's a lot of good old... Yeah, well, right. So that's what I'm saying, is like the old country music, I don't know. Old music in general, to me, is just better. Because very few of the people playing it were actually good looking. So it wasn't about looks over substance. It was about substance. Do you write a good song? Do you play instruments well? Do you sing well? With, you know, they didn't have auto-tune or anything. You had to be good. And so, like, you look at Glenn Campbell, for example. Now, Glenn Campbell, I know a few of his songs. I don't know really much about his music. But I admire the hell out of Glenn Campbell, musician-wise, not as a husband, because I think he beat his wife. But musically, you know, that guy was part of the Wrecking Crew, which was, if you don't know, that was a studio band that played on like all the hits in the mid to late 60s, as far as I know. And I'm talking, they did like Sonny and Cher, Beach Boys, Frank Sinatra. I think Glenn Campbell played on some of the Frank Sinatra albums of the late 60s. And he played country and classical gas. And like, he was just really, really, really good at his instrument. He had a good voice. He kind of acted in a movie with John Wayne. You know, these people were real creatives. They were real talents. Not that they're not really creative or talented today. It's just that the record companies ruin it, and they sanitize them. And that's why I like old music better. It's not sanitized. Although there was sanitized music. The pop music, you know, was always kind of a little more sanitized. But on the whole, old music was just so much better. So now we're in Fairfield. I'm going to pull over here and just catch up on some of the comments, just in case someone had a request. Oh, Miss Lisi, thank you for $5. Thank you very kindly. I'm astonished by anyone who could play the spoons. Yeah, I met a lady back in 2018 during the 25th anniversary of the movie celebrations, and she was actually Brian Mallon's sister's friend, and she played spoons. And so I think it might be on my Instagram. If you go back to October of 2018, you might see a video of her playing spoons. And I was just mesmerized. I was like, what? I don't even understand this. Jumpmaster, I have a 135-acre farm in south central Ohio. It's what kept me from moving to Gettysburg 40 plus years ago. Oh, that must be nice, though. 135 acres. I would just saddle my horse and ride the range all day, looking for cattle rustlers, even though I wouldn't have cattle. And yeah. Yeah, see, Beth, you've got the right idea. I live close enough to town. I can be as social as I want when I want to be. That's right. Marsh Creek Cemetery is a gem, and back there somewhere. Yep. Knoxville, Montana, basically dead ends of the plant I work in. Just remember that where we go, there you go. Okay, so I read those here. 80s joke. The Signal Corps saw you. Backtrack. That's funny. How about Hunterstown? You know, I'm not familiar enough with Hunterstown. I really haven't gone up there more than maybe 3 times. And that was over a decade ago, so I don't remember much of it. Honestly, I'm looking for nice and cheap. And by cheap, I mean affordable. I didn't like country. Yes, okay. Exception is Zach Brown. All else is bad. Yeah, Zach Brown's respectable. Cheryl agrees. Old music generally better. How old is old? I'll say, let's see. I was in high school from 92 to 96. And in that time, I really dove into old music. By that point, it would have been 30 years old or more. So, yeah. And then now I listen to music that I ignored in the 90s that was contemporary, that all my friends were into. And I said, wow, that sounds like a bunch of noise to me. I very much had an old man's sensibilities my whole life. And I listened to like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Nirvana and all that stuff, and I heard noise. The only album I really liked at that time was Pearl Jam's 10. I remember my friends and I driving around during that summer that it came out. Or maybe it wasn't that summer that it came out, but we were driving around during a summer. And we would just blast it with the windows down, singing along to every song on the album. And of course, we didn't know 45% of the words because Eddie Vedder's indiscernible, but still, great album. But other than that, I really didn't get into contemporary music. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, this is good stuff. So, and because by today's standards, it's tame. And by today's standards, it's actually people playing instruments with no computers, no auto-tune. They had to do it themselves. So I would say, Tom, to answer your question, 30 years roughly, 25 years, well, let's say 25 years is when something is considered classic. So 25 years or more. However, in, let's say, 10 years, well, actually, in 2 years, that would make stuff that came out in the year 2000 classic, but we all know that that's when everything really started to suck. So it has to be from the 20th century. Let's put it that way. That's old music. Yes, Glenn Campbell was in True Grit. Good morning from Montana. Now there's a place I'd like to go. I've been to Wyoming and I loved it. Never been to Montana. I think I would like Montana even more. Seems a little greener, but I wasn't well, not all of Wyoming is where I was. So, yeah, but no, I would love to go to Montana. Lucky you living out there. Although I don't envy you during the winter. He played some with the Beach Boys. Yes, he did. Loved Sinatra since the 90s and never knew that about Campbell. Yeah, Glenn Campbell was a session musician before he was his own thing. You know, like that was with like Hal Blaine, the drummer, and Carol Kane, the bassist, who I think within the music world, she's a little controversial because she claims that she takes credit for things that Wilson, she took credit for some things in Beach Boys song that Brian Wilson was like, that's total. Like she made up the bass line to Good Vibrations or something like that and he's like, that's not true at all. So whatever, but still, she's a great bass player. '90s grunge and alternative is to the current generation what '70s classic rock was to us, and that makes me feel weird. Yeah, me too. And so I take it Danny, that you're close to my age. I'm 45. I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, 45 seemed the first, well, the 40s seemed the first decade of ancient. And, you know, they were just kind of all squares and, you know, just, there's nobody cool. And every once in a while I have to remind myself that I'm now that age. But I still feel young. Although physically I feel old, but spiritually I feel young. And mentally, I don't think anybody would argue with me when I say that I really haven't matured since I was 12. But, and that's good, I think. Because if we're going to talk about Frank Sinatra, we can harken back to his hit Young at Heart. And now, of course, I can't remember the appropriate line, but, well, that is the line. All right, so, yeah, so I just turned around in Taverna, their parking lot. I would recommend Taverna if you're in town and you don't want to wait 45 minutes for a table. Drive the 8 miles out to Fairfield, go to Taverna. It's very good food. I was just there the other night with Ronnie and Jen Murray and Michael Walker and Cindy and Kathy, and we were there for like 3 hours, had a nice time, had a good dinner. The food was good, conversation was good, but the conversation, that's not the responsibility of Taverna, that is the responsibility of you and whoever you bring, so just keep that in mind. And almost got a free meal because I told the girl, I was like, yeah, you don't have to give me a check. And she's like, well, no, I kind of do. And I said, well, I'm a Yelper. And so it depends on what kind of review you want to get. And she's like, oh, well, in that case, I'll tear it up. And I said, that's what I thought. And she goes, just remember, my name is Morgan. And I was like, all right, I don't have a Yelp. I'm not a Yelp reviewer. I'm sorry. I just made that up. I'll pay the check. You say Montana like Sam Neill on Hunt for Red October. I don't remember how he said it. Montana. That's actually, I got that from, what was his name? Robert Urich in Lonesome Dove. I believe it was Robert Urich. He had just come back from Montana. And, yeah, I think it was him. And he was telling Gus and Call about it over breakfast. And that's when Call gets the idea to take the herd, well, steal a herd, and then take it up north to Montana. And have all of his friends killed in the process. He didn't mean to, but that's what happened. 1993 was Vitology album for Pearl Jam. I went from country straight to Pearl Jam. Now that's a transition. Yeah, that is a transition. Okay, so Vitology was 93. That was after 10, right? So 10 must have come out when I was in middle school? Oh my God. How did I get so old so fast? Modern music makes me glad that my dad raised me on Genesis and Pink Floyd. Yeah, man, I'll tell you something. I remember a couple years ago I had a conversation with my dad, and I guess I don't know what I was listening, like what app I was using, but it was something like, Pandora or something. And I had it on, Motown radio. And I love Motown. And that solely comes from my father's love of it. Because that was the first music that wasn't children's music that he exposed me to. And I remember I had to be under 6 years old because we moved out of this house that I had this memory in when I was 6. I'm going to take you down this road here. I think it might take us out to Ortana. This is Carroll's Tracks Road. Yeah, it does take us to Cashtown and Ortana. But and I might lose you at some points because there's a point where I go through like a little gulch in the mountain. So bear with me if I do lose you. But anyway, so Dad, we had a rec room where all the toys were, and an old couch and a stereo. And I remember Dad playing me Motown records, and he wouldn't just play it and let me dance around like a goofy little kid or whatever. He'd be like, now listen to the drums at this part. And then there would be some really cool Motown drum fill that only Motown did right. Or listen to the bass at this part. And so it taught me, and he wasn't a musician, so this is just a fan of music teaching his child to be a fan of music. But what it did was it taught me how to use my ears and how to listen to a song or any recording and deconstruct it. And of course, I didn't know this at the time. This is something that evolved over the years. But as I got into music myself and learned more about it and how to do it, how to write it and all that jazz, and then recording, all of it suddenly connected and came together, and it's like, I feel like I have a foundation because of my dad. And I had a conversation with him a few years ago, and I go, I'm a lot like you in many ways. My sense of humor, my way of thinking, blah, blah, blah. I said, but the greatest gift you gave me was my taste in music, because music today is so awful, and it wasn't that great, when I was growing up. It was better than what it is today, but it wasn't that great. Oh, I wish you could see this view out the left side of the car here. I need to get like one of those Google cars, with a 360-degree view, and to drive around like that and do these. How cool would that be? There is a 360-degree camera. I wonder if I could figure out a way to rig it on the car. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so that's probably the best gift my dad ever gave me was my taste in music. And there's one thing that'll be a hill I'll die on, is somebody trying to tell me my taste in music isn't good, because everything they think is good today probably comes from those people being influenced by the people I like. So why should I listen to the imitators when I can go to the real thing? And the funny thing is, a lot of those people were imitators too, but they innovated while they imitated. Like the Beatles, they were imitating Carl Perkins and Chuck Berry and this American R&B and country music. But look what they did. And then all rock bands try to be the Beatles, and then so it's a mess. Is the dog with me? No, Mitchell. The dog is at home. I'm getting my break from her. It's a puppy is a baby, and unlike human babies, you can leave a puppy crated for a little while, which they need to get used to anyway. So that's when I actually can get anything done. It's a good thing I got the puppy when I took my vacation, because I don't have time to do anything. Like when I try to work at home, she's sitting there wanting to play, and when you look down at her with little puppy dog eyes and her oversized paws, how can you resist? So of course you're going to get down on the floor and roll around and play. And I have so many scratches on my arms and face from her biting and scratching, and my heels, but it's worth it. It's nice. She's growing on me. I think I'll keep her. 50s started the rebel music beginning. Yeah, the 50s was good too. The recording technology was not quite where my ears feel most comfortable. For me, the sweet spot is 66 to 70, but also I can extend that to maybe 76. I just think like the stuff that was done in those latter years of the 1960s, just the recording technology was better, and it was right. Like it should have just stayed there. Now everything I think is a little too crisp and clear, and I don't like it. And a good way to judge that the older techniques are better. If you're into audio stuff, and there are people I'm sure out there who are far more educated on this than I am. I never went to school for this. I just kind of pick it up. But like there are filters that you can put your sounds through to make it sound warmer, like an analog recording, like they would have had back then, not a digital recording. And so really, like, I guess that would kind of be degrading the sound. And it's the same thing with video, is a lot of videographers filters that make their video, and that tells me that even in the modern day, even among people whose whole generation was brought up on digital technology, that the analog technology looks and sounds better because they're trying to make modern technology look old. And it's not just stylistic, because there's subtle ways that they do it as well. So like that you wouldn't really notice, but they do. That bump was just Morgan thrown under the bus. Who? It was 1992. Oy vey. Okay. So by the time we were driving, 10 was a few years old. So you didn't get a serving of boogers. Tie web with, I'm set that up. That's my favorite. Oh God, that's so funny, that song. Piss in your potatoes. Genesis was good. Yeah. I couldn't see you as a big The Cure fan. No, Mitchell, I hated that crap. Excuse me. So here's what I wasn't into: rap, country, R&B after 1980. Again, it's all about instruments. What else? Into like whatever genre The Cure falls in. New wave, sorry there, yeah. So anyway, I didn't try to soothe my anger with more anger. I tried to soothe it with the opposite. So, yeah. Plus, like, I really gravitated towards sad love songs because that was basically the story of my love life, was sad. So I related a lot to the songs about heartbreak and loneliness and all that stuff. And those songs, as far as I'm aware, tended not to be done by Metallica. Although if they were, it was so disguised with noise and anger that I couldn't tell. However, looking back, there's Metallica music that I appreciate now. Not a lot of it, but some of it. So that stuff, yeah, I didn't really, honestly, like, I was very run-of-the-mill as far as that goes. Like, there were people that got into these obscure bands that I knew, and I would listen to them, and I'm like, this sounds like a shitty demo somebody made in their garage. And oftentimes the answer would be, it is. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you like this? It sucks. But again, that I think I didn't realize that I had a Aural snobbery issue. I was a snob with how things sound, and I still am. So we're in Cash Town now, ladies and gentlemen. Cashing Town. There's the Cash Town Inn up ahead, but I'm gonna turn right here. And we're gonna go across Route 30. I don't think I've ever gone out this way with you before. I've only gone out this way once or twice myself. We're gonna make a big loop around. For those of you who missed the very beginning of the video, which is all because there were 0 people in when I started doing a time-wasting drive, because I'm waiting on a package to arrive that has speakers in it, which I need for work that I'm going to do at the studio. I have some editing to do, and yesterday my speakers busted, and which, they served me well. They're like 15 years old, so they served me well. They've been through a lot with me, but it was time to move on and get new ones. I went to Staples because I knew that they had them there, and I'm looking at them, and this guy comes over, he's like, can I help you? And I go, yeah, do you have any more of these, or are you out of them? And he looked it up, and he said, no, we're out, they're on clearance, they're discontinuing that model, and they're going to come out with a new model, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, damn it. So I go, well, can you tell, are there other Staples in the area that might have one? And the closest one that had one left was in Lancaster. And I was in Hanover, and I'm like, no, I'm not driving to Lancaster for one thing. So I went on Amazon, and I found a like the next step up in the Logitech speaker line, but it was on sale. So I saved like 35% on the thing, and I ended up paying less than what I would have paid for the original speakers. And it was great. And so I'm waiting on those to arrive. Also, I'm waiting for studio monitors to arrive so that when people are sitting in the peanut gallery, they can hear the show in the other room without everybody having to get all tangled up in headphones. So, what is the name of this road that we're on? That is a great question. This is the Cashtown Road. It's not the Cashtown Road that we know from the battle, but this is known as Cashtown Road. The round barn we just passed on the right. Motown is awesome. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, well, you may be old there, Tommy, but I'll tell you, it's still awesome. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows My Girl. You go to a wedding and My Girl comes on, all ages get up and go out and dance. And that opening bass line, the way they recorded that, I've heard remakes of it. I've heard live performances of it. It always falls short. The way they recorded the album version, you know, the version we all know of My Girl with David Ruffin singing it, is like unmistakable and totally just lovable. Everybody loves it. So My Girl, so Motown is timeless. And then, you know, when they get in the 70s, they get political and all druggy, you know, then it's kind of like, all right, you know, you got some good stuff. Pop, Rolling Stone is good. What was the other one? I like Ball of Confusion. I'm more of a Temptations guy, but Smokey Robinson is good. Martha Vandellas. They're all good. They all had some great hits. And what a great story the Motown story is too. Everybody should have to learn that story in school, and in the hope it would inspire them to actually go out and do something like Berry Gordy did. I don't know. It probably wasn't. It was just as hard. You got to believe in yourself. You got to go do it. You have to have a good idea first, but then you got to do it. Hey now, LS says, road trip. Love these raps from Matt. Thank you. I often regret them because sometimes I forget that I'm talking to nameless and faceless people, total strangers, and I don't know what I divulge. Sometimes it might be more than I want to. Yes, Miss Lisi, she is Border Collie and American Pit Bull. So she's got, last night, she woke up at 3:45, jumping around on the bed, whining, yelping, not yelping, but like, you know, barking. And I'm like, what are you doing? Leave me alone, back to sleep. And she's like, beep, beep, beep. And I realized she probably has to pee. So I flops on, went outside, so the dog could pee, and she did. She had to pee, so kudos to her for letting me know, and kudos to me for listening. And we went out, she peed, and then I came back in, and I couldn't fall asleep. Finally fall asleep. Oh, and she's got some dry skin, or not, I don't know if it's dry skin or what the hell, I forgot what the vet said it was, but something that makes her itch. And she's like, if she gets itchy, you know, give her a Benadryl. So luckily she was getting itchy, and I gave her a Benadryl, and soon enough she fell asleep. But there she was. My alarm's set for 6:30 every morning. She's there, 6:15, sniffing at my face. I've got to go out again, Papa. So there we go. I got up, took her out, and I was awake. So I'm dragging ass a little bit today, but you know, it's the joys of being a dog, a parent to a uses the term fur baby, but it reminds me of fur burger, and it's just gross. I don't like it. And it's not I mean, it's a baby, but it's not your baby. I know you love it like a baby. Let's go. So we're on 234 East. I think that's Arntsville. Yeah, I'm in Arntsville. Bigler Bill. Oh, we had this guy. I'll tell you a story. So 2000, my best friend Pete and I decide we're gonna move. We need a friend that. So we're down here and we meet, people. We meet the son of our land, accosted by an Amway person 4 or 5 years prior. And I said, Pete, this is some kind of Amway thing. And he's like, yeah, it sounds kind of weird. And I go, no, I guarantee it is. Because whenever they make you feel like a loser for having a job and not making $3,600 a week or whatever the magic number is that they decide to share with you, it's some kind of pyramid scheme. So I said, let's go and we have a story to tell. And we like telling stories because life is pretty boring. And so we will often experience something knowing that it's going to lead to a story. So we go to Eric's house. And there's Tom. Tom in a wife beater. He looks like Jeff Daniels, but like the hick version of Jeff Daniels, okay? Man boobs, wife beater, tall guy. Can I talk like this, all right? And so he introduced me to Tom. So Tom's giving us this whole thing. He goes, so at Market America, what we like to do is, you got your left side and you got your right side. And you fill both of them with BV, which is business volume. And you get business volume by going out there and getting your friends to join too. They're going to want to join $3,600 a week at the very least once you get going. And, and the thing is, we have products that are just as good, if not better, than the products that you get at the grocery store for a fraction of the price. So you want toothpaste, and then Eric he goes running back into his bathroom and comes out and slams the Market America toothpaste on the table. Every item that he mentioned, Eric ran somewhere in the house and pulled it out and showed us that he's got it. I'm not only the president, I'm a client. And so we go this whole big spiel, right? And I said, well, I don't know, I've got money to spend on this, but it's allocated for my business that I just started, so this might not be the right time. He goes, well, why are you gonna waste your time with the business when you can come here, come over to Market America, a couple of months, just running out there hitting the ground running, you could be making $3,600 a week. And I said, do you make $3,600 a week? And he goes, I do. In fact, my wife and I are looking at putting on an addition in the house. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I said, well, let me think about it a little bit. You're asking me to do something here. I said, look, I just moved to the area. I don't know a lot of people. Well, what about people back home? And I go, no, they'll never go for it. They're too skeptical because they've been through this before. I said, I've been accosted by an Amway salesman before. And he goes, no, this is not Amway. This is not a pyramid scheme. This is multi-level marketing. And I go, right. It was basically that episode of The Office when Michael Scott gets into a pyramid scheme, but he doesn't think he is. And then Jim draws it out and shows him. That's, basically what it was. And now we're heading south on Route 34, which goes into Gettysburg. So anyway, that's, anyway, so then we go to one of their meetings, because I knew that they would have meetings because Amway had meetings. So I go, well, do you guys have a meeting? Like, can I go and just kind of get a better idea with like a larger group of people? And, yeah, actually we got one coming up this Thursday in Hanover if you want to come to it. So Eric took me and Pete to the meeting in Hanover, and it's like a cult. They get up there, there's the hype man, and he gets up and he talks about Keith. And this guy Tom kept talking about Keith too. Keith this, Keith's got a Mercedes, Keith's got a this, Keith's got a that, right? So then Keith finally comes out, and the hype man that introduced him stands in the back of the room. And every time Keith says a certain thing, and it changed each time, the guy in the back would be, he'd lead the applause, right? And then like a bunch of seals, everybody goes, and just, automatically, reflexively starts clapping along with him. So, so we go through that whole thing, and I go, you know what, Tom, I really don't think I'm interested in it. I just can't spare the money. I don't know how long it's going to take for my business to make money. I need every cent I can get. I can't do it right now. All right, that's fine. That's what we want to do. And so every once in a while, for that summer, Tom would stop by the bike shop, and he'd be like, hey, how you doing? Just dropping by to check and see how everything's going. I go, oh, pretty good. How about you? He goes, just building my business, same as you. I go, yeah, how's that going? He goes, I'm making $5,600 a week now. I go, really? He goes, yep. He goes, I only started this 6 months ago, and we bought a house up in Maine, in the woods, a little cabin, and we're putting an addition on our house now, man. I'll tell you, it's great. My wife is as happy as a pig of shit. And I go, that's such a nice way to describe your wife. But yes, well then, I was like, well, maybe there's something to this. So I go, well, let's get dinner again, Tom, and talk about this a little more. And I knew that this was going to be the end of it, because like I said, he would come by like every other week, maybe like once a week, sporadically. He'd stop in and check on us, and he'd be like, so I said, well, let's go to dinner and talk about it a little bit more. So we go to dinner, we're talking about it a little bit more, and he's doing all the sales tactics and everything that just, don't work. And finally I said, listen, I'll make a deal with you. I will write you a check tomorrow if you show up tomorrow with your latest check in the amount of $5,600 from marketing. And he slams his hands down away, but slams his hands down on the table and he goes, that's it. We can't do it. Keith always says, if someone says, show me the money, they're not cut out for this. And I go, you're right. I'm not cut out for this. Please leave me alone. I'm not interested. And that was it. I haven't really noticed, I know that they still exist, but like I haven't encountered these multi-level marketing people in quite a while. But I have so much fun with them though. Cause it's just ridiculous. Who My daughter's a big fan of the LP music recordings. The LPs, the old, whatchamacallits. Morgan the waitress, if that's right. Oh, Morgan, yeah, gotcha. Okay. On the way out, drive safe, man. Thanks, Tom. Talk to you later. I think Nothing Else Matters is Metallica's only love song. I think you're right, and it's a great one. It's a great song. Sometimes, if you slow it down and you turn it down a bit, and get loud and then get low again after the guitar solo, you have a hit, a big hit. Because even metalheads cry tears of sorrow and sadness and brokenheartedness. Thank you for the background while some of us have to work. Yes, you're welcome. I would like to be working now, actually, but I'm waiting for that stupid delivery. But I'm glad I could do something in the meantime. Make sure you give her a job to do. Border Collies get bored really easily. Lots of walking and running. Yes, I'm noticing. I give her bones. So for a while I was giving her these toys that look like ducks. And one of them had a squeaker in it, and she ripped that apart in like 4 days. The other one I got had an actual duck call in it. She ripped that apart in less than an hour. And I said, all right, she needs something more. So I went to the pet store and I got a marrow bone, and she loves this thing. She sucked the marrow out of that in one afternoon, and she loves eating it or chewing on it. That keeps her busy. I tried to get her to help me with my accounting, but she's just not really understanding how computers work. I think it's maybe she's a little too young yet to figure that out. So we'll get back to that in a year, maybe. And I do take her for walks often. She's starting to get the hang of the little bell on the door. Although at first, she would, poop or pee on the floor, and then I'd be like, oh, God damn it, Major. And, and then I'd clean it up. And as I'm cleaning it up, then she'd walk over to the door and ring the bell. And so she seemed to misunderstand you're supposed to ring the bell first, then go out and poop and pee, and then come inside and get your treat. But now she is ringing the bell to go out, but she doesn't have to poop or pee. She just wants to go out and play, which I'm on vacation, so we have some time to do that. Yeah. So we're getting there, one step at a time. She's getting better on the leash. What is annoying though is like when she's playful after she poops and pees, and I give her treats and I tell her she's a good girl, and we start walking back towards the house. She's all proud of herself and playful and tries to herd me. Instead of walk with me, she nips at my heels and jumps up and tries to, she'll bite my shorts and try to, yank on them, which I keep telling her, I'm like, you do not want to do this, to scare the neighbors. And so that's kind of, I have to actually just pick her up and carry her, and if I'm in a hurry to get inside. But we took her to Harper's Ferry in Antietam on Saturday, and she had a lot of fun, and we tuckered her out pretty good. That was nice. Always love a tuckered out pup, because then you're going to get some peace and quiet as they sleep. And she slept for like 10 hours. It was fantastic. Never big on Metallica, but it was interesting to watch them play The Garden with the New York Symphony. Enter Sandman was pretty badass like that. Yeah. It's funny. I wasn't into Metallica either, but I have more respect for them as they get older. Not musically, just as a business. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Guns N' Roses, on the other hand, I've loved Guns N' Roses as a kid, but now it's sad to see what the hell Axl Rose has become. He looks like Madonna after her plastic surgery. They both had the plastic surgery, and I don't know what the hell they're thinking. He can't sing anymore, but I don't think anybody thought he'd ever be able to sing after Guns N' Roses broke up, because that's not a natural way to sing. That's a put on, and he had to have torn his throat apart. And you just naturally don't have the elasticity in your voice when you get older. So yeah, Slash is still an awesome guitarist, so we're going to see you and Major take over the new ad campaign for Coppertone. Yeah. Talk about Bud Light losing $25 billion. Coppertone would lose $125 billion after that. Nobody needs to see that. That is obscene. That is beyond obscene. It is horrendous. No, horrific. Oh, God, tickling me, throat. Nothing to drink. Nope, here's some water. I'm thinking of making an Instagram account for Major, but I really don't run Addressing Gettysburg's Instagram account much anymore. So that wouldn't last very long if I did it. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the gas for this wonderful drive around is brought to you by our patrons over at patreon.com. With each drive around we do, the more patrons we need, because gas isn't cheap. Go to patreon.com/Gettysburg. Become a patron today. So much over there on Patreon. I think something came out yesterday. Yes, something did. I don't remember what it was. And I think something's coming out tomorrow. It's from the, whatchamacallit? Whatchamacallit, ladies and gentlemen? Uh-oh, we have a flashing traffic light here, which tells me the power went out. Or something. Something. Maybe they're working on it. Who knows? I forgot what I was talking about. Alright, I know you're not supposed to do that, but... Yeah, no, go ahead, sir. Just pull out in front of me and go really slow. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's quite all right. It's quite all right. I don't mind that at all. Yeah. I mean, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not. I'm truly not. It's the principle that no one was behind me and you couldn't wait. See, that's my inner Jersey comes out. And I'll leave you lying on the barrel. So, Cindy and I are trying to figure out a little place to go away for the weekend. Maybe just an overnight. I'm looking for secluded, quiet, like a cabin or, something within an hour, 2-hour drive at the most. I just need to get away from people, from everything, and just decompress, turn the phone off, listen to birds chirping and bears growling, the lovely sounds of nature, So does anybody have any suggestions? I'm not talking about going out, to Montana, which I'd love to do, but I'm just saying something inexpensive, close, quiet, quaint. We were looking at tree houses, actually, last night, and I realized this. I want to live in a treehouse. Again, going back to being young at heart. Yeah, it's nice to have a house and everything like that. But like a tree house, how cool would that be? And these are some nice freaking houses. Remember that show? I think it was called Treehouse Masters. I mean, it's, that's pretty cool. So I decided that when I finally buy a house, I'm not going to buy a house. I'm going to buy land and build a tree house on it. Now, it's not going to be one that's completely supported by trees, because what happens if one of the trees, dies or something, and, no. So, but it's going to be, a unique way, and I think that's... So there is a tree house, campground. No, it's not a campground, but where you can go in a tree house down in Maryland that we found, and it had only 3 or 4. And they were really cool looking. And I'm like, man, that would be neat to have, you know, an overnight or a weekend and something like that. We might do that. But I'm curious to know what you guys would suggest. Poconos, yeah, Major would be going. I lived in the Poconos. I grew up going to the Poconos. I've been there, done that. I want to do something else, somewhere else, like Raystown. If you've been up there, it's a beautiful lake up in the mountains, in the Huntington area. Saxton, I think, is like the closest town. Well, it's not the closest town, but it's one of the towns that are nearby. That's a nice area. It's beautiful up there, the mountains and all that jazz. But I've been there too, so, you know. Major and Harlow should have a play date. Yeah, anytime, Beth. Let me know. You have my number, don't you, Beth? I think you do, don't you? Well, if you don't, I'll give it to you. It's 717. I'm not giving it out. I'm not giving it out, guys. I'll give it to Beth later. So I just heard about a hill that has statues of cats on it in Gettysburg. Have you heard of this? No, I have not heard of this. I have to know more. You tell me about this. Oh, hold on a second. I just saw something. I gotta talk to somebody here. Give me 2 seconds. Enjoy the traffic going by. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, let me see here. I will be in town for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash this weekend. What Battlefield Bash? What are you talking about? I'm going to check this out. Yeah, let me know. I want to see this place. Omni Bedford Springs Resort for your little getaway. Peaceful, relaxing place about 3 hours away. Omni Bedford Springs. Is it in Bedford, I'm guessing? There is a cat diorama I remember seeing a post about. Well, that's Civil War Tales, Tails, up on Baltimore Street, just before you get to the cemetery. With your bitch slap rapping and your cocaine tongue, you get nothing done. Yes, in Bedford. Okay, cool. More and more editing here, and you are just driving around Gettysburg. I'm ready to come back. I know. Well, my package arrived. I got a notification, so I'm going to go pick and then go to the studio and now do my editing, because we did a video at the reenactment, not the Daniel Lady reenactment, the one before that, with all the initials. I don't remember. They have to rename that so that it's easier to identify, because most people can't remember the name of it. But the Acts of Valor was the name of the reenactment. That's right. So we did some video there, and I started editing it, but I had a little problem, and that problem is named Major, in that she would not let me do it. And you know, you got to focus. Like, you got to like look through all you have and go, all right, this is worth keeping. This is worth cutting. Go ahead. You were already going, buddy. Etc. Etc. So, I couldn't really focus on that. So now I'm going to the studio to do it. And, you know, just little man on the street stuff. There's not much of the reenactment, but if you want to see some really good reenactment shots, Dave Johnson's Gettysburg Images is the way to go. I love Dave's work. I want him to be one of my video guys, because he's just he's come so far in just a couple of years. So I said you could. So yeah, so the package has arrived at the studio. I am going to get a cup of coffee from Bantam Roasters. Haven't been there in a while. I'm gonna stop in, get some coffee, say hi, see what's going on. And before I do, I'm going to read your messages. There we go. Whoops. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Hey. Don't forget, folks, if you're in town, 5:30 p.m. in the cemetery, licensed guides do a free tour. And then at 7 o'clock, I believe, or I think it changes with the sunset. So I might be wrong on the time. No, I think it's 7. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is, look it up yourself. 100 nights of taps, all summer long at, what's it called? All right, so let me turn this around here, and I will answer these things as we go. Hi. Got some, okay. Where are we now? What about something in near Shenandoah Natural? Okay, wait, I got it. So we got a lot of things here. Okay, Poconos. Is Major going? Are you still alive? So I just heard about Little Hill. Okay, the cats, we got that. And then Bash, yes. Well, yeah, the Bash. What is the Bash? Omni Bedford Springs, got that. Cat Diorama. What about something in near Shenandoah National Park? That's about 2 hours away. Debbie Jones, great idea. In fact, Cindy went last weekend, I think it was, to Shenandoah National Park. Not National Park, but Shenandoah. And her family and her got a house, a cabin, I don't know what it was, on a river. And they had a really nice time. Said it was really nice. It's at the Wyndham. Yeah, but what is it? Paranormal Brew. I don't know what it is. Never heard of it. Who's doing it, etc., etc. Yes, in Bedford. Okay, got that. More and more editing here. Okay, that's where I left off. Benefits go to wounded warriors and terminally ill children. Huge event all weekend. Theme is Christmas in July. Well, that's good to know. I'd never heard of this. So, okay, who's putting it on? I wish we knew. Well, we could still. Do you know anybody who's affiliated with it? We could have them come on the show on Thursday. Is it still hot as the dickens there? It's 92 degrees, but not humid. It's actually quite bearable today. Bedford Springs has a great 1865 flag. Bedford Springs. Was that It's a Wonderful Life? Wasn't that Bedford Springs? What was the name of that town? Love that square. I just got my name engraved in a brick close to the Lincoln statue. I'm going to do that one day in memory of Matt Callery. And see what kind of trouble that starts, you know? That's what I'm going to do. There's a link for the bash. We raised over $18,000 last year. Love the 100 Nights of Taps. Trying to squeeze that in with the sunset, though, because I want to do both. Pam and Steve Barry. That's who does it. Okay. And where would I find them? It's like pulling teeth with you, Paranormal Brew. Who are the people? Are they part of an organization? What's the organization? How do I get a hold of them? So you will be doing a show this Thursday. Yeah, we did a test show last week. Bedford Falls. Thank you. We did a test show last week. Veronica's not back. Last week she was sick. This week she has her board meeting with the Gettysburg Civil War Roundtable, where she's going to bring up the issue of changing the day of their meetings so that she can do the show. Because apparently to her, the roundtable is more important than the show. Okay. Bedford Falls is one of her life. Thank you very much. How do you go live? On YouTube? It's if you have the app, there's a little plus button at the bottom. You just hit that and it says go live, and it's quite simple, really. Two of my besties. If you want to have them on, I can connect you. Thank you, Paranormal Brew. That's what I'm asking for. Why I shared the link. I don't see a link. PCWA. What is the PCWA? I don't know how you people keep track of all of these abbreviations and acronyms for I live here. I'm surrounded by these people. I do business with them. I don't do business with them, but I associate with all these different things. I can't keep track of them from one. People go, oh yeah, it's the BJWR. And I'm like, what? The what? Can you just speak it, please? Because I'm going to make you end up speaking it anyway. Because I don't know what it is. Unless it makes a cool word like scuba. You know, then, all right, I get that. I can remember that. The other reenactment. Okay, thank you. See, that's my point. They need to just change the name. Yes. Don't write Bedford Springs Resort off. Keep in mind, great in the wintertime too. Take the girlfriend and have a nice romantic. No, I'm not writing that off at all. I would do that. I like the Shenandoah suggestion. In fact, I gotta ask Casey. Maybe something around Winchester would be nice. Yeah, that's so pretty down there. Yeah, we'll figure something out. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if there's anything to do. I don't want anything to do. I want to sit on a porch and I want to go, what's for lunch? Oh, I don't know. What do you want? I'm thinking maybe just a turkey sandwich. Okay, great. And then after lunch, let's say we take a nap. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Why don't we take a nap on the porch? It's screened in. There's a couch. That's great. We'll do that. And then you wake up, oh, let's take a stroll down to the river or the lake or whatever body of water there is. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll do that. You know, just, I don't want to go to town. I don't want to go out to dinner. I don't want to get ice cream. I just want to relax. That's all I want to do. Just come here and take a vacation at the beach in South Alabama. I have a beach house. No shit. Well, that might be but that might be worth the 40-hour drive. And I've never been to the deep South. I've always wanted to go. And that I might, careful what you wish for there, Josh. I might take you up on that one day. Well, it is time for coffee from Bantam Roasters. Don't forget, when you go to Bantam Roasters, also used to be known as 82 Cafe, but it's now Bantam Roasters. Go to Bantam Roasters and you order your order and you say Hancock, you get 10% off. Or is it 20? You get a certain percentage off. So I highly recommend. Plus, it's great coffee. And everybody loves coffee. I quit coffee for 2 years. Then they became a sponsor. And I said, well, I at least have to try it. And I tried it. And I was like, you know what? Me likey bouncy. Me likey bouncy. So that's all I have to share with you today. I'm going to get the coffee, go get that package, set it up, and do some editing. I'll talk to you all later. And we can get some seafood and do a show from here. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. If you can hook me up with an Alabama historian who knows about, let's say, the 15th Alabama, we could do a show from there. That'd be great. But, yeah, we'll figure it out later. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a great week so far. And we'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye now.